Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, hello and hi to anyone and everyone watching this. This is Cheeto Slayer, and I've got more brain food for you today. So today is actually kind of a Sunday themed episode because I've got three words that I normally wouldn't tie together, but I feel like they really just kick for a Sunday. So we've got rest, energy, and stagnant. And let's take a look at what they all are. But before I do that, I'd really like to thank and suggest for a second. And I'd like to thank a guy that I used to work with because he really just engraved it in my head that it's great to keep a notebook on you. And I always did it at work, but now that I've brought it into my personal life, I just have like this little field guide / journal to put all my thoughts in. And I feel like it's a really good exercise for me to keep my mental juices flowing and actually go back to thoughts I had before. And I also want to say thanks to a teacher that I had in high school because he said something that really just resonated with me. And anytime that we were about to, go into a lecture or a lesson, or at the beginning of the year whenever they were talking about school supplies or anything like that, he would always say something to write with and something to write on. And he would really the way that he would enunciate those words, put a different spin on it. And I didn't really think about it until I, got into this episode. But what he meant by that, I don't feel was about pencils or paper or pens. And I think that's why he said it like that, to avoid any of those other distractions, because the importance that was actually behind it was you having something that could be the physical embodiment of the knowledge that you're about to digest. And it gives it a more emotional, it's real. And whenever you write it, you wrote it with your own hands. But anyways, thanks to them too, because I really appreciate it. And it's something that really it made me smile today because, they're really cool people and they had a big impact on me. But anyways, today our first word is rest. And rest is an instance or period of relaxing or ceasing to engage in strenuous or stressful activity. And I think that's great because, you've had a long week, and that's why it's a Sunday word, all of these are Sunday words, is because you had a long week and you need rest. But something that I want to point out is the words strenuous and stressful. And whenever I think of strenuous, I think of more of like a physical labor or, physically intensive anything. And whenever I think of stress or stressful, I think of more like a mental aspect. And for the point that I'm trying to make, just keep those two separate and make sure that there's like a fine line between the two. The next word is energy. And energy is the strength and vitality for sustained physical or mental activity. Again, there's a huge separation here because you can have your mental energy and you can have your physical energy. So you've gone through your long week and you've exhausted all of your mental and physical energy. Maybe you have some left in the physical, maybe you have some left in the mental. And I feel like that's where these two really tie together, because we rest and we think, okay, I'm gonna stop moving. But I don't think that we really touch on it enough that these two have their own separate pools of energy, if you will. So you've got your mental and you've got your physical, and you might have exhausted one of them throughout the week, but not exhausted the other one. However, we get so lost in the idea that I'm resting, that we don't want to do anything, that we think we're exhausted, that I feel like we kind of fall into the third word for today, and that's stagnant. The first definition says not flowing or running. So there's no form of movement. The second definition is stale or foul from standing. And whenever I look at that one, I want to think like attitude. Whenever you stop moving physically, your body starts to get kind of stiff and kind of just ugh. And mentally, if you don't keep those creative juices flowing, you start to get very groggy, tired, fatigued, or even depressed. And both of these forms of being stagnant, either mental or physical, I feel is why people hate Mondays so much. Is they go through their week and they finally get their energy up because they've been moving and it's really good for you, and then they're so used to that crash at the end of the week because they think, oh well, I've earned it, I've deserved it, I should just crash. But then whenever it comes time to get back to it, they're very stale and they're very sour because they haven't been moving. And then our third definition for stagnant ties in at lack of development, advancement, or progress in movement. And the reason that I feel all of these just tie together so fantastic is because it doesn't matter what day is your Sunday. Your Sunday could be on Sunday, you know, the technical Sunday, or if you work weekends, your Sunday might be on a Wednesday or something like that. But I want to get the end of the week kind of mentality for Sunday, because we think, okay, it's the end of the week, it's time to crash, we rest. That's what we think. We think rest, but some of us crash, some of us lose all of our energy. And we're not even losing our energy because we don't have any energy. We're losing our energy because we're so used to that crash. And then that leads into the stagnation that we end up hating Mondays because of. But the real takeaway for all of this and how I feel they all tie together is because I feel like, me personally, if I continue to do stuff throughout the weekend, like if I pick up shifts on those weekend days and I just keep rolling, it's like my body and my mind get in tune with the idea of just continuing. And that continuous motion, it just gives me so much more momentum. Gosh, I love that word. And that's the real point that I'm trying to get at, is just because you're resting doesn't mean that you don't have energy in one aspect or the other. So since today is our rest day, then it's our day also for development. And the reason that I think that is because if you're resting your mentality because you're stressed and you're fatigued mentally, then rest that. Make sure that you're getting that appropriate rest. But that also means that you've probably been doing a lot of mental things throughout the week, and your body might be kind of lacking the attention that it needs. So I feel like if you're in that kind of a situation, it's a good day to kind of shut the brain off, go below the neck as far as everything goes. Like my uncle used to say, you below the neck work, because you kill the switch on your brain and go and develop that physical health. And vice versa, if your body is fatigued from just doing all the below the neck work all that week, then it's very good possibility that you're lacking some of the mental development that you could have been getting in that time. So just to balance things out, it might be a good time to like read a book or do some creative anything, writing, drawing, anything that you see as your creative outlet. But just to make sure that you've got that contrast between the physical aspect and the mental aspect, to keep yourself in that positive mind frame, keep some form of movement with your energy that you do have, and avoid that stagnation. Get up, go do something, have fun, spend some time with some family, loved ones, like anybody. Anything that will promote your development in either of those categories, either mental or physical. Rest the one that needs the rest, and develop the one that's been lacking throughout the week. Create that balance. But if you got something out of this and you enjoyed it, feel free to like or send it off to someone else that you think might enjoy this kind of stuff. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so that you can see more stuff like this before the video ends and I'm gone forever. I hope you guys have a wonderful, awesome, amazing, fantastic day, and I'll see you later. Take care.